The research station floated silently above the pale blue planet of Cerulia. Its metal surface gleamed under the light of a distant sun, and the hum of machinery was constant, a reminder that life in space was never quiet. Humans had built the station to study interstellar signals, mysterious messages that arrived from far beyond known space. Scientists from different worlds worked together here, but the station itself was a melting pot of cultures, languages, and habits. To some, it felt chaotic. To Captain Alex Reyes, it felt like home. Alex stood near the observation deck, looking out at the glowing planet below. His uniform was crisp, his boots polished, and his hair still damp from a morning shower. He loved the feeling of standing at the edge of the station, seeing the planet spin slowly beneath him, and knowing that humans were only a tiny part of a vast, mysterious galaxy. He loved being among the stars, but today, something else was on his mind. "Captain Reyes," a voice called softly. Alex turned and saw Lyra approaching. Lyra was from the Lyran species, a humanoid race with delicate, shimmering skin that reflected light in soft waves. Her eyes were large and deep, almost like liquid silver, and they seemed to see more than anyone else could. She moved with a grace that was both precise and natural, and Alex often found himself watching her longer than he should. Not because of attraction alone, it was because she was brilliant. Her mind was sharp, and she understood things humans could only begin to imagine. "Yes, Lyra," Alex replied, trying to keep his voice casual. "I finished the preliminary analysis of the last signal," she said. Her voice was melodic, calm, but carried a confidence that made it impossible to interrupt. She handed him a data pad, and he scanned the information quickly. "Interesting," he murmured. "The pattern, it doesn't match any known frequencies. Are you thinking what I'm thinking?" Lyra tilted her head slightly. "It could be a form of communication, but it is not simple. The structure is unusual." Alex nodded, trying not to stare too long at her expressive features. Working with her had been amazing these past few weeks. She had a way of explaining complex ideas in simple, elegant ways. Humans were smart, of course, but Lyra's thought process was different. Faster, clearer, and somehow more connected to the universe itself. They walked together to the lab, their conversation flowing easily. Alex was aware that many humans felt uneasy around aliens, especially those from species so different from themselves. But Lyra never made him feel that way. She respected humans, she laughed at their jokes, and sometimes, when she was curious, she asked questions that made him think in ways he had never thought before. Inside the lab, holographic screens floated in midair, displaying patterns of light and sound. Alex watched the latest signal flicker across the display. The images were mesmerizing, moving in patterns that almost seemed alive. Lyra stepped closer, her silver eyes reflecting the colors. "This section here," she said, pointing, "it repeats every 47 cycles. But the modulation is not random. It is intentional, as if someone wanted to convey emotion along with information." Alex raised an eyebrow. "Emotion from a machine?" Lyra smiled faintly. "Perhaps not a machine, perhaps a mind we cannot yet comprehend." He laughed softly. "I like the way you say that, a mind we cannot yet comprehend." She tilted her head. "It is true." For the next few hours, they worked side by side. Alex couldn't remember when he had enjoyed working so much. Usually the lab was quiet, filled with the hum of computers and the occasional argument over data interpretation. But today, it felt different. With Lyra, even the most complex problems seemed less intimidating. Finally, Alex leaned back in his chair. "I think we've done as much as we can for today." Lyra nodded, her attention still on the floating patterns of light. "Agreed, though the signal may change tomorrow, revealing more." Alex hesitated. He had been planning this moment for days, and now, with the hum of the lab around them and the soft glow of alien lights on her skin, he felt both nervous and excited. "Lyra," he began, trying to sound casual, "there's something I wanted to ask you." She looked at him, curious. Her expression was neutral, but he could see the spark of interest in her eyes. Alex stumbled over the words, feeling unusually human and awkward. "Would you like to go on a social outing with me?" Lyra blinked, and Alex immediately worried he had made a mistake. "Social outing?" she repeated, her voice calm but precise. "Yes," he said quickly, "like dinner or something humans do for fun outside the lab, just you and me." Lyra tilted her head again, considering. For a moment, Alex feared the worst. Many humans had been rejected before, but this was different. This was alien. He had no idea what her answer would be. Finally, she spoke. "You wish to spend time with me in a non-professional context?" "Yes," Alex said, trying to smile. "Exactly that." There was silence for a few seconds, long enough for Alex to feel his heartbeat pounding in his ears. Then she smiled, not a big smile, but a subtle, graceful curve of her lips. "Very well, I will accompany you." Alex nearly fell over in relief. You will?" "Yes." "I wish to understand more about your human customs." His heart leapt. He had expected polite refusal, perhaps even confusion. But this was better than he had hoped. Over the next few days, Alex and Lyra prepared for their outing. Alex wanted it to be perfect, in the way humans thought perfect meant food, music, and pleasant conversation. But he also knew Lyra might have different ideas. When the day arrived, Alex waited outside the docking bay. Lyra emerged from her quarters, her silver skin shimmering softly in the artificial light of the station. She wore something simple by human standards, but it was elegant, designed to accommodate her physiology comfortably. "You look different," Alex said, not knowing how else to describe it. Lyra raised an eyebrow. "Different from what?" "From your usual lab attire," he admitted, smiling. I like it." She nodded, her expression unreadable, but he thought he saw amusement there. They boarded a small shuttle together, heading for the station's central garden. A human-designed space with real plants, a small pond, and artificial sunlight that mimicked the planet below. Alex loved it because it reminded him of Earth, and he hoped Lyra would enjoy the calmness. As they walked through the garden, Alex realized just how unusual this moment was. He was sharing a simple human experience, a walk, conversation, laughter, with someone who was not human, someone whose mind and senses were far beyond his own. And yet, here she was, willing to explore, to understand, to share. "So," Alex said, trying to sound casual, "do Lyrans often go on social outings?" Lyra shook her head. "Not in your sense. Lyrans value knowledge, precision, and purpose. Social interactions like this are rare, but I am curious about your methods." Alex grinned. "Well, I promise to teach you the human way. It might seem strange at first." They strolled past flowering plants, the colors vivid even in the soft, artificial light. Birds of different species, brought from various planets for study, chirped and fluttered, adding life to the garden. Alex noticed how Lyra's silver eyes reflected the colors, and he wondered what she truly saw. They sat by the pond, where small fish darted beneath the surface. Alex tried to make conversation, asking her about her home planet, her childhood, and her species' history. Lyra answered thoughtfully, and sometimes she asked questions that made him pause and think. "I never thought humans would value something like this," she said, gesturing at the garden. "Your species has a strange sense of beauty." Alex laughed. "Strange, I'll take that as a compliment." "It is," she said simply. As the artificial sun began to set, casting a warm glow across the garden, Alex felt a growing confidence. He had asked her out, and she had agreed. That alone was remarkable. But he also felt something deeper, something that humans called connection. And he realized that perhaps, despite all differences, beings from different worlds could truly understand each other. For the first time in a long while, Alex allowed himself to hope. Not just hope for a successful outing, but hope for something more. A friendship, perhaps, or even something closer. And as they continued their walk, sharing laughter and stories, he knew one thing for certain. This was only the beginning. The shuttle moved smoothly through the station's corridors, carrying Alex and Lyra toward the part of the station known as the cultural hub. Unlike the lab, the hub was designed for relaxation, interaction, and entertainment. Humans, Lyrans, and many other alien species came here to share ideas, experiences, and customs. Today, it would be Alex and Lyra's first real date, although neither of them called it that aloud. Lyra studied the shuttle interior, her silver eyes scanning every detail. "Your mode of transport is small, yet efficient," she observed. "It is different from the vehicles on my homeworld," Alex grinned. "Well, we don't have anti-gravity fields like yours do, but it gets the job done." She tilted her head slightly, as if considering his words carefully. "Efficiency is valued on many worlds, yet humans seem to combine efficiency with, what is the word? Entertainment." "Fun," Alex said. "Yes, humans value fun, even if it is not always efficient." Lyra's expression softened, a faint trace of curiosity in her gaze. "Fun. I will try to understand it today." The shuttle doors opened with a soft hiss, and they stepped into the hub. Immediately, Alex noticed the difference from the sterile metal corridors of the lab. The hub was warm, with soft lights, gentle music, and colorful displays from countless worlds. Exotic plants from distant planets lined the walls, and small fountains reflected light like moving mirrors. It was a place designed for the senses, for connection, and for peace. "Welcome," Alex said. "This is my favorite place on the station. I think you'll like it." Lyra's gaze moved slowly across the area, her movements precise and deliberate. "It is pleasing. The colors, the sounds, they are arranged in patterns that are calming. It is enjoyable." Alex laughed. "See, that's fun. You're learning already." They walked toward a section of the hub known as the Sensation Garden, a space where beings could experience alien plants, sounds, and mild virtual simulations. Alex had chosen this place carefully, knowing it would be both safe and fascinating for Lyra. As they entered, a gentle hum surrounded them. Plants with luminous leaves swayed as if responding to their presence. Small creatures flitted about, leaving trails of sparkling light. Alex reached for a floating panel and activated the garden's interactive mode. "Here," he said, "you can touch, smell, and even hear some of these plants. They're harmless, but they can show you things humans like to enjoy." Lyra extended a delicate hand to touch one of the glowing flowers. The moment her fingers brushed the petals, a soft vibration traveled through her arm, sending a ripple of colors across her skin. She paused, her eyes widening slightly. "This sensation," she murmured, "is novel. I have never felt anything like it." Alex smiled. "That's the idea. Humans love new experiences. Sometimes we just enjoy them for the sake of enjoying them." Lyra examined the plant closely, turning it in her hands. "Enjoyment as a purpose. I will remember this." They moved slowly through the garden, interacting with different plants and creatures. Alex explained how humans often associated colors, smells, and sounds with emotions. Lyra listened intently, asking questions, and occasionally touching a plant to feel its unique vibration. She laughed softly when a small creature, like a shimmering butterfly, landed on her shoulder and tickled her skin with tiny antennas. "You laugh," Alex noted with a grin. "That is the reaction humans have when something is pleasurable or amusing." Lyra's silver eyes sparkled. "I see. I understand. Laughter is a shared signal of pleasure. Interesting." They continued to explore until they reached a small pond in the center of the garden. The water glowed faintly, reflecting the artificial sky above. Alex knelt beside it and tossed a small pebble, creating ripples that shimmered in multiple colors. "Humans often find this relaxing," he said, "watching simple patterns, enjoying the beauty of small things." Lyra leaned closer, watching the ripples. Humans value patterns, and yet they also value emotion. The combination is intriguing. Alex felt his heart lift. He realized that this simple outing, designed to be light and fun, had become an opportunity to connect in ways deeper than he had imagined. Lyra's curiosity and willingness to experience human culture made her more than just fascinating. She was beginning to feel like a companion in every sense. As the artificial sun of the hub slowly shifted to mimic evening, Alex suggested they try something humans called interactive storytelling. It was a virtual experience where participants could live short stories in a controlled environment, solving problems, making choices, and exploring worlds together. Lyra tilted her head. "We will experience a simulated reality. It is a form of learning." "Partly," Alex said, "but mostly it's for fun, you'll see." They entered the simulation chamber, and within moments the room transformed into a dense alien jungle. Towering trees with translucent leaves surrounded them, strange creatures moved through the underbrush, and distant mountains glowed under a violet sky. Alex could see Lyra's eyes widen in wonder. This is amazing," she whispered. "It feels real." Alex nodded. "It is designed to feel real. You can touch things, solve problems, and see the world change based on your actions." Their simulation mission was simple: retrieve a rare crystal from the center of the jungle without disturbing the local wildlife. But as they moved through the simulated environment, Alex realized that this was more than a game. It was a test of teamwork, trust, and creativity. "Watch out!" Alex called as a simulated vine sprang toward them. He quickly pulled Lyra aside, demonstrating a human reflexive action. Lyra mirrored his movement perfectly. "I adapted. Observation aids understanding," she said. They laughed as they navigated obstacles together, combining human intuition with Lyran precision. Alex found himself admiring her ability to anticipate dangers, solve puzzles, and respond to the unexpected with calm intelligence. Meanwhile, Lyra seemed fascinated by the unpredictability of Alex's human instincts, sometimes reckless, sometimes brilliant. Finally, they reached the crystal. It glowed softly, pulsating in rhythm with the ambient jungle sounds. Alex carefully picked it up, but the ground beneath them suddenly shifted, simulating a minor earthquake. "We must move quickly," he shouted. Lyra's reflexes were perfect. She grabbed his arm, and together they ran toward the exit, avoiding falling debris and simulated creatures. Their combined effort brought them safely out of the jungle, the crystal glowing triumphantly in Alex's hands. Breathing heavily, Alex laughed. "See, humans are good at thinking fast when it matters." Lyra's silver eyes reflected the simulated sun. "And yet your quick thinking is remarkable. You adapt to uncertainty better than many species I have observed." Alex felt a warm pride swell inside him. Not because of the praise, but because she noticed it. It was a small HFY moment. Humans could surprise even advanced alien minds with creativity, courage, and adaptability. After the simulation, they returned to the garden. The soft light of artificial stars twinkled above them. Alex took a deep breath. He felt a shift in the air between them, something unspoken yet meaningful. I'm glad you came with me today," Alex said, his voice soft. Lyra regarded him carefully. "I am also glad. This has been enlightening." "Not only about human behavior, but about cooperation and trust," Alex smiled. "That's exactly what I hoped. Fun, learning, and maybe a little connection." Lyra's expression softened further. "Connection is valuable. It transcends species boundaries. I am beginning to understand its importance." They sat together in silence for a moment, simply enjoying the calmness of the hub. Alex realized how unusual this experience was, sharing laughter, excitement, and quiet reflection with an alien mind. And yet it felt natural, as if they had both been waiting for this moment of understanding. As the evening progressed, Alex suggested a final activity, a small human tradition called stargazing. They climbed to the observation deck, and the view took their breath away. The station hung like a jewel above Cerulia, and the stars stretched infinitely in all directions. Lyra leaned closer, studying the constellations. "Your species is fascinated by distant objects, stars, planets, yet you also seek connection among yourselves." "Yes," Alex said, "we are curious about the universe and about each other." Lyra's silver eyes reflected starlight. "Curiosity, it is universal, and yet humans act on it with emotion, creativity, and courage. I admire that." Alex's heart lifted at her words. He realized that the day had gone beyond a simple outing. They had shared experience, trust, and mutual respect. He had asked her out and she had agreed, but what he had gained was far more than a date. It was a partnership, a bridge between worlds, and a small yet powerful HFY moment. Humanity's ability to connect, adapt, and inspire. As they sat side by side, watching the distant stars, Alex thought about the journey ahead. Tomorrow would bring new work, new challenges, and perhaps new signals from the unknown. But tonight, they had shared something remarkable. And for the first time, Alex understood that sometimes the greatest discoveries were not in signals or distant worlds, but in the connections humans could make, even with beings from far beyond their own understanding. The following morning, Alex woke earlier than usual. He had slept well after the previous day's outing, but his mind was alive with anticipation. Today would not be a simple day. Signals from deep space had begun to arrive with unusual patterns, signals that neither human nor Lyran computers could fully decode. As he dressed, he felt a mix of excitement and nervousness. Today, he and Lyra would face a challenge unlike any other. When he entered the lab, Lyra was already there, her silver eyes reflecting the soft lights of the observation deck. She had changed into her work attire, but there was a calm focus about her that Alex admired. "Good morning, Captain," she said. "I have analyzed the preliminary data from last night's signals. There is a pattern, but it is unlike anything in known archives. I believe we may be encountering an intelligent source." Alex's heart raced. "You mean it's possible we're about to make first contact?" Lyra nodded. "Yes, and it is uncertain. We must proceed carefully." The lab was quickly filled with scientists from multiple species, each trying to make sense of the signals. Holographic displays flickered with codes, frequencies, and patterns. But despite the flurry of activity, Alex and Lyra stood apart, silently agreeing to work together. Their previous experiences had built trust, and now it would be tested. The signal appeared to originate from a distant star system, one that had never been mapped in detail. The patterns were rhythmic, almost musical, but layered with complex modulations that seemed to carry meaning. Alex glanced at Lyra. "We need to respond," he said, "but carefully, we don't know if it's friendly or if it's dangerous." Lyra tilted her head. "Humans act bravely even when uncertain. I admire that, but we must combine caution with your courage." They worked side by side, combining human intuition with Lyran precision. Alex suggested a response pattern that mirrored the rhythm of the incoming signal, adding subtle variations designed to indicate peaceful intentions. Lyra adapted the transmission, ensuring that the frequencies would not be misinterpreted by an alien mind. Hours passed. Finally, the moment of truth arrived. The station transmitted their response, sending it across light years to the unknown system. All eyes waited. For minutes, there was nothing. Then the signals returned, altered in a way that indicated recognition. "They understand us," Lyra whispered, barely audible. Alex allowed himself a small smile. "I guess humans can be impressive when we try." The excitement, however, was short-lived. The signals suddenly shifted, displaying an unfamiliar complexity that suggested the approaching arrival of a physical vessel, or perhaps an unknown life form responding to their message. Scientists scattered, preparing defenses and communication systems. The situation was tense. Alex turned to Lyra. "We need a plan fast, something nonviolent. We don't want to provoke them." Lyra's silver eyes reflected determination. "We will combine our knowledge, human creativity, and Lyran logic. Together we may succeed where others fail." They worked quickly, analyzing the new patterns. The unknown species seemed intelligent, capable of interpreting complex communication. Alex realized that brute force or hasty decisions could be disastrous. What was needed was understanding, improvisation, and calm thinking, a true test of human adaptability. Alex took a deep breath. "Let's try something different. Instead of transmitting raw data, we send an interactive pattern, a puzzle. One that shows we come in peace but also demonstrates intelligence and curiosity." Lyra raised an eyebrow. "A puzzle? That is bold." "Bold," Alex admitted. "But it shows we are not a threat and that we seek understanding. It's risky, but it might work." Together, they designed the puzzle, a series of lights, frequencies, and modulated sounds, arranged in patterns that mirrored natural harmonic structures. Alex added subtle variations inspired by human creativity, while Lyra adjusted for precision and clarity. When they transmitted it, the lab fell silent. Every eye was on the screens, every mind focused on the unknown response. Minutes stretched into what felt like hours. Then, the signals returned, slowly at first. The patterns shifted, reformed, and finally aligned with Alex and Lyra's transmission. Recognition, peace, a moment of triumph that filled the room with quiet awe. They understand us," Alex whispered, disbelief in his voice. Lyra nodded. "Yes. And they have responded in kind. Your human creativity, it worked." Alex felt a surge of pride, not for himself alone, but for humanity, for their ingenuity, adaptability, and courage. Even in a galaxy full of advanced species, humans could surprise others with their cleverness and empathy. This was the essence of HFY, the ability to rise above expectations, to connect, and to make a difference. The room erupted in quiet celebration. Scientists exchanged smiles, some laughing softly, others nodding in respect. Alex and Lyra shared a look, a subtle acknowledgement of the teamwork that had made this possible. After the excitement, the station settled into a calm rhythm. Alex and Lyra returned to the observation deck, seeking quiet. The distant stars stretched endlessly before them, but now they seemed more alive, more connected than ever. "You handled that remarkably well," Lyra said, her voice gentle. "Even under pressure, you remained calm, creative, and decisive." Alex smiled. "I had a great partner. Humans can do a lot when we work together with someone we trust." Lyra's expression softened. "Trust is rare, but you have earned it." For a long time, they sat together in silence, enjoying the view and the shared understanding. It was a moment of connection that went beyond words or species, a moment that spoke of curiosity, courage, and respect. Then, Alex turned slightly, feeling a nervous excitement return. Lyra, about yesterday and the day before, I am really glad we spent time together outside the lab. Lyra studied him carefully. I am also glad those experiences have broadened my understanding of your species, and I enjoyed them. Alex took a deep breath. I was thinking maybe we could do it again. Not work, not signals, not simulations, just spend time together, as friends or more if you want. Lyra's silver eyes reflected the stars. She paused, as if considering not just the words but their meaning in human context. Then she smiled, a gentle, unmistakable smile that conveyed both amusement and warmth. I would like that, she said. I wish to continue learning your customs and perhaps teaching you mine. Alex felt a wave of relief and happiness. I'll hold you to that, he said, laughing softly. The days that followed were filled with quiet adventures. Alex and Lyra explored parts of the station they had never seen, shared meals in the communal dining area, and occasionally returned to the Sensation Garden. Each activity strengthened their bond, and with every moment, Lyra's understanding of humanity deepened, while Alex learned more about the universe through her perspective. One evening, as the station orbited Cerulia in perfect silence, a new signal arrived. This time it was not a message, but a map, a star chart pointing toward uncharted regions of space. Alex and Lyra studied it together, their heads bent over holographic displays. This is an invitation, Lyra said slowly. They wish us to explore further together. Alex's eyes lit up. Then that's what we'll do, humanity and Lyrans together. There's a whole universe out there waiting for us. Lyra's silver eyes met his. Yes, and together we will face it with curiosity, intelligence, and courage. In that moment, Alex realized something profound. Humanity's strength was not just in technology, not just in courage, but in connection. In the ability to understand, to adapt, and to inspire trust across species and worlds. HFY was not just a slogan, it was a way of being. As they prepared to transmit a response to the new map, Alex felt a sense of purpose unlike any he had known. The universe was vast, unpredictable, and often dangerous. But with Lyra by his side, with humanity's ingenuity, and with the courage to take risks and reach out, anything was possible. They activated the transmission, sending a signal of intent, curiosity, and friendship across light years. The unknown species would know that humans were not only capable of understanding, but of connecting, adapting, and rising to challenges with intelligence and heart. Lyra watched him with a quiet admiration. You are remarkable, Captain. You and your species have potential. Alex smiled. Thanks, Lyra, but it's not just me, it's all of us. Humanity, our creativity, courage, and curiosity makes moments like this possible. For a long time, they sat together, gazing at the stars, knowing that the universe held countless mysteries. And for the first time, Alex understood that the greatest adventures were not just about signals, planets, or alien species. They were about connection, trust, and the human spirit rising to meet the unknown. As the station continued its orbit, bathed in the soft light of Cerulia, Alex realized that this was only the beginning. Together, he and Lyra would explore, learn, and face challenges far beyond what they could imagine. And along the way, humanity would prove, again and again, that even in a galaxy of wonders, the human spirit could shine brightest. The stars stretched endlessly before them, and for the first time, Alex felt completely at peace. He had asked a question that could have been ordinary. Instead, he had received an answer that changed everything.